any potential connection between the two. Investigators are not giving those details, again, because this case involves a juvenile. But we do know that a 14-year-old is facing charges. We've seen a number of other students coming to Danvers High School this morning. They tell us that their teacher, Colleen Ritzer, was an algebra and a geometry teacher. They tell us that she taught 14-year-old students, freshmen and sophomores. So again, it is unconfirmed and unclear whether or not this boy was a student in her class, but we do know that she taught students of that age. A lot of students this morning turning up at this school, mourning a woman who was very much a well-liked, a beloved teacher. She taught in the district for the last 2 years. She was known for standing outside of her door, greeting the students in the morning. They tell us her favorite color was pink. The students plan to hold a vigil tonight, all of them out here dressed in pink. They are home today with their parents, trying to make sense of what has happened. All 7 schools in the district were shut down as news of this unfolded. A math teacher's body found in the woods behind the high school. So the school district not taking any chances, keeping all the students home, and that's exactly, Wolf, where the parents say they want their kids to be today.
Why did they shut down all the schools?
Well, we're told that they were only looking for one suspect, that 14-year-old who will be headed to court this afternoon. Investigators say that they were not looking for anyone beyond that 14-year-old, but it seems the decision was made that when you have a moment like this, a horrifying moment in this town's history where a lot is uncertain, that the quick response was just to say the kids are staying home. They will be with their parents. Of course, you can't really keep them away from school on a day like today. They want to be with their classmates. They want to be with their teammates. We're seeing some of the soccer team students come out and talk to each other. They want to tell stories about Ms. Ritzer. They're leaving flowers in front of the school. They're doing the things that they need to do to try and cope today, but the decision was made from the top that class would not be scheduled today.
Alexandra Field, thank you. We're hearing also from students at the Danvers High School in Massachusetts. They say they were shocked to hear what happened to their teacher, understandably so. Listen to this.
Just thinking back on it, it's just surreal that how quickly someone can go and how much we take for granted every day. She was like the nicest teacher you could ever have, and I can't believe it.
This is the second high-profile incident at a school this week. On Monday, a teacher in Sparks, Nevada was killed when a student opened fire. 2 other students were wounded. Let's discuss what's going on with the psychologist Jeff Gardere. He's here in New York watching what's going on. So parents, all these schools, they've now been shut down. How do the parents deal with this? They have to explain what's going on to their kids.
Which is a good idea by shutting down the schools, letting them spend the time with their kids. More than anything else, Wolf, listening to what the kids have to say, letting the kids mourn, letting them go through the grieving process, and talking to them about life. What we once considered to be the safe havens, the schools, no longer are those sorts of places. Reality has imposed itself there, and so it's important for parents to be able to communicate that to their kids, but yet at the same time also not make them jaded.
Because some of these kids are going to really be shaken by this, and they're going to have some problems potentially.
Well, here's what happens. If you don't talk about your feelings, if you don't have that catharsis, as we talk about in psychiatry, you internalize a lot of those emotions. You become very, very fearful, and some of that fear is turned a lot of times into anger. Anger at others, anger at yourself, and then we see some of this situational depression. So it's important that these kids be allowed to talk about all of their emotions having to do with this, what we know as a beloved teacher, and what that feels like for them to be betrayed in such a way, to lose someone who was a role model to them.
And presumably some of these kids knew this 14-year-old boy who is now in custody. They're going to be asking themselves questions.
Well, they're going to be asking themselves lots of questions. What was the nature of the relationship that they had with this individual? Were there things that they saw about this individual that they should have told someone and they didn't? So they're going to have some guilt around that. But if nothing else, a lot of confusion. How does something like this happen with someone that is so young?
It's a serious problem, and people all over the country should start taking some lessons. Teachers, administrators, parents dealing with these kinds of issues, because we've seen them pop up all over the country.
I don't think we should get into the mindset that these sorts of crimes are committed by 18-year-olds and up. We see a 12-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 14-year-old. So we have to pay attention that there are mental health issues that happen very, very early, and if we're able to tackle them as early as possible, then the prognosis is much better. I'm sure there were signs in that 12-year-old who killed the teacher in Sparks. There are signs with this 14-year-old. People probably didn't connect the dots. They need to understand that severe emotional issues can happen with someone very, very young, and if we don't address it, then it can turn into something that is horrific.
Jeff Gardier, the psychologist, thanks very much. Once again, we don't know a whole lot about what exactly happened.
Right.
It's the investigation only just beginning.
Sure.
We're going to